So that's what BMC stands for. Hello and welcome to You Started It with Daniel Fernandes. On today's episode, I have with me Atul Khatri and Radhika Waz. Welcome to my podcast. How's
Thank
it
you
been?
for having us,
Radhika, what have you been
Danny.
up to?
Oh, I've just been traveling and working on my suntan and hustling. It's the hustle. No, I actually haven't been doing anything, which is why when you called me, I was so easily available.
Yeah, I think when you're a comedian, it's very hard to look busy. You know?
I know.
Like you try to oh yeah, I've been doing so many things. It's just been a
I have
crazy
a book.
day.
I actually have a little diary, and I
Yeah.
actually tell people I have to call you back. I have to consult my diary, and it's completely empty blank pages
Yeah,
staring
like,
me in the face.
Like even with me, my day doesn't start until after I have lunch.
Yeah.
So I'll wake up like at around 10 and then I'll have breakfast and then do things and cook lunch or something. But I can't get any work done before lunch, and then by the time that finishes, it's almost evening. You got if you have a show, and then the day is done.
The day is
But it's
over.
so hard to convince
He has
people.
a show every day.
I know that's the difference between
Not
Danny and
every day.
me.
After I've come back from Australia, I've hardly done that many public shows. You gig more, Atul.
Yeah, I do gig more, but
You
my day
gig-
starts very early. I'm an old man, so I started I get up at 8.
Because you don't know how much time you have left.
Exactly.
Make the most
Make
of
the
it.
most, live every
Wake
day
up
as
early.
it comes.
I know, seriously.
So I have a set routine. I get up at 8 and read the newspaper for 1.5, 2 hours, and which is a very old man thing to. I get upset when my newspaper
Yeah.
doesn't come.
But
come on time.
with you, it's more because you're a fitness enthusiast, right? Like you.
No, reading paper is not about fitness.
Yeah, I
Nahi,
mean,
but
he spends
other
2 freaking hours on the goddamn paper, dude. That's
Nahi, other
Yeah,
than-
but I do exercise in the morning.
Yeah, you wake up to cycle. You're
I used to cycle, but I've stopped that a little because
Didn't
of
you
the
used to
roads.
run? Weren't
Yeah,
you a
I
runner?
run also.
Are you still a runner?
Yeah, I'm a runner.
Okay.
I'm a half marathon runner.
Yeah. No, I
ran
knew
like
something about
14
that.
half marathons, and then I did. I do cycle also, so I run one of India's largest cycling communities called Bombay Cycling Enthusiasts. Got like 14,000 members. Like me and some
Wow.
group of friends, we run it. So they cycle every day in the morning. So if you have to
Okay.
cycle, just reach there at 5:45. Every day they cycle, and just
Where
a route
in
change.
God's name do you cycle in Bombay?
We cycle early morning from Juhu. We go to they go to Nariman Point. They go to
Wow.
Burley Ceiling. Say sometimes on a long day they go to like Panvel and
Okay,
100
okay.
kilometers.
Jeez, you cycle all the way to Panvel. What's
I've
the
done once.
longest or the furthest you've ever cycled?
I have done around 100 kilometers on a day, which is
Like
somewhere near
back and
Panvel
forth.
and back. Yeah.
That's
I
interesting.
wish I could say I liked cycling, but I've only experienced it like long distance cycling one time when my husband and I went to Italy for a holiday.
Huh.
And I had planned some part of it, and I knew that he gets very twitchy and bitchy if he doesn't like work out, So he's also a bit of a fanatic. And so, in a fit of like caring about what he wants to do, I booked us on a cycling, like a thing to a vineyard outside Florence.
Huh.
So we're going to cycle to this vineyard, and we're going to have a beautiful lunch with wine and all this shit, and then cycle back. It sounded amazing, right? Except that I didn't have cycling shorts, and the bike seat is very hard, after about
You require special
25
padded,
minutes.
shorts for it. Yeah, you
Oh
can't.
my God, I
You need to
was.
wear padding.
Yeah. Padding is.
I couldn't
know
sit
this.
down on the bike seat on my way back, let alone it was just the worst experience of my life.
I think the last time I cycled was when we were shooting a pilot for something in Shimla, and we took one of these trails along the hills. And like, okay, we're going to cycle. And I thought, yeah, cool, we'll cycle. And while we were cycling, it was a downward. We were going downhill, but it was a very, it was a very gradual slope, so you couldn't tell you were cycling.
And then you came back up.
And then I came back up. Oh my
I know.
God! After a point, I was like, listen, what? I give up. You guys walk. I know where we are staying.
Yeah.
And I walked with the cycle.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It's
Yeah.
It really is a test of every muscle in your body. So I mean,
Exactly.
good on Lance Armstrong. I think
With his one
Whatever
ball.
happened.
this
Yeah.
is one ball and lots of steroids aside. But Atul, you've got some interesting, is it big news to share
No,
professionally?
not really big news, but I've been solo now, so I left East India Comedy in June.
Okay.
And
The only
we're going
reason
a
I'm
solo.
not reacting is because he just told me this
Yeah.
before we started. Otherwise,
Yeah, I
would
mean,
be like,
I was wondering, should I, am I supposed to act like surprised?
Oh my God.
What?
Like
Ye
he
kab hua?
like back was the sindoor and like
Yeah, we
blow off the diya and all that. No.
Okay, so you've gone solo now.
I've gone solo now, and so this is from June. I've gone solo, and looking at pursuing stand-up more. And see, like as you said, I don't have much life left. So I was doing a bloody corporate career for like 25, 26 years, and then wanted to do stand-up. And with East India, we're getting into more into content and Bollywood and this and all. But I still wanted to do my stand-up, and wanted to. So I from 1st June, Saurabh left in April, East India Comedy, and I left now in June.
So now just the young boys.
It's just the young boys and Kunal. So they are removing people age-wise. I think Kunal is next.
Everyone's retiring.
Yeah, finally there'll be only Sahil left in East India Comedy.
The next notice is going to come to Kunal. Like, one day, you're next.
But good fun now. I'm actually getting more busier, because now when you're on, you are sort of, now you got more things to sort of do.
Correct.
And earlier it was, because East India Comedy, we were like, it was a proper run office. So every 11 o'clock we would reach office where they had late running sketches and things like that. So actually, the reason why I left my job was to get into solo. I was trying to get into that thing of again having us, 11 o'clock to 8 o'clock, which is good from my wife's perspective. She said, at least you're out of the bloody house.
I was just going to ask about that, because I know I've met his wife, and one of the things she loves best about Atul is he's not home.
He's not at home.
Nobody likes me at home.
Yeah, what, 25 years of marriage? And
I know.
Yeah, you can how it is.
That she's still around is amazing.
So nowadays I go to a Starbucks or a library, go and sit and work.
Where do you, because the Cuckoo Club's buzzing, just in case you're interested.
Sure, I'll be there.
So you have to spend X number of hours outside the house? Is that...
I also like it. Otherwise, at home, I'm not used to at home. Then, sort of have lunch and then, let me sleep for like 2 hours. Let me be fresh.
You procrastinate a lot, because with me, I live alone anyway. So I can't, even if I go out, I'm like, I'm going to be alone in any case. But I stay at home and I end up, and the worst thing that you could possibly do is start watching something on Netflix.
So
if it's a good thing, then you're just binge watching. So right now I'm enjoying Silicon Valley. Have you guys seen Silicon Valley?
No, I haven't.
Dude,
is it amazing?
It's one of the best comedy writing I've seen in such a long time.
Okay, I'll watch some of it.
Rohan told me to watch that.
It's one of the shows where, with most comedy that you see online, you're laughing in your mind. This one, you are laughing out loud. It's so funny. I mean, you have to watch it. It's really good. Definitely recommend.
Both of us have time.
You don't have that much.
But Silicon Valley will last till...
Silicon Valley right now, they've got 4 seasons.
I'm about as old as you, I think.
4 seasons, half an hour, about 8-10 episodes. I think you're fine.
Especially with Game of Thrones.
I'm not too happy with Game of Thrones. So, I mean, episode 1 was just... Like, do you watch Game of Thrones?
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Rubbish. My Khaleesi is going to take the Iron Throne and now you're not interested.
No, she's going to take it. She's going to take it, but I was just like, episode 1 was okay. It's like more like a recap. And then episode 2 was boring. I'm like, 7 episodes? 8 episodes in this season. And already 2 episodes down, nothing major happened.
I haven't seen the second one, but probably I'll see it tonight.
I almost dropped a spoiler.
It's okay.
But it's good. So you guys know what we do on the podcast. We discuss stuff that's happening around us, stuff people are saying to us on Twitter, or stuff that we've seen on Twitter or any other social media platform that we want to discuss. So we'll start with you, Radhika. This is a tweet that you shared with me. So read out the tweet and then we'll get into the discussion.
So the tweet in itself, I mean, is just the tip of the iceberg of this ridiculous situation, right? But it's sort of the instigating situation. Okay, so it's from Mirror Now. And it says here, Mumbai corporators meet BMC chief Ajoy Mehta and demand to take legal action against... I mean, it's funny. Okay, Red FM 93.5, a radio station, for insulting BMC via its medium. #pothole rap.
I love the hashtag. There's a hashtag.
Yeah, seriously,
Pothole rap.
It's about that Malishka incident, obviously.
So this is the Malishka incident. Malishka put out a rap about potholes in Bombay. And
a radio jockey,
right?
An entertainer, basically, keep in mind. An entertainer has put out a rap about the fact that we have...
Too many potholes.
And now she's... Well, I don't know what the latest... I haven't followed the story to this day. But, I mean, basically the BMC went after her. There were complaints filed against her house.
Yeah, so the reaction was they went to Malishka's house.
Yeah.
They inspected the house and found that... there was, and I like how they said she's breeding mosquito larvae.
Like she's sitting there and helping the mosquitoes out. Like they're her pets.
Like everyone else, like you have a fish tank, you have cats. She's breeding malaria. It's so hilarious. And now, I think after that, I think the next day they even went to check if there were any illegal structures.
Wow.
So basically, this was just like some revenge,
some vendetta.
Yeah, totally.
full complete
Totally.
bullying. And again, it circles back to the same fact that in India, again, it's on. Everybody wants to make an example out of soft targets.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, first it was film stars,
Yeah.
then it was comedians, and now it is RJs. So like,
But it remains tightly within the entertainment
within the
structure.
entertainment. We can have
because-
our own club now.
Yeah, you guys want to laugh and want to watch movies and all, but when it comes down to it, we're the
easy
easiest ones to
targets.
pick off.
Yeah.
The
right?
same thing happened with Kapil Sharma also.
Yeah, the exact same thing happened with Kapil Sharma actually.
Kapil was hilarious because he tweeted about bribery.
Yeah.
That the BMC
And then the
officials
next
were
thing-
asking him for a brag and he
Yeah.
refused to pay.
Pay it.
So he tweeted on
Yeah.
the Prime
Modi,
Minister.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
I
these
think it was a
guys-
drunken tweet. I don't know, like
drunken tweet.
2:30 in the morning or 4
Yeah,
o'clock
I think
in the
before
morning.
that was before he threw a shoe at somebody.
Yeah, all
God.
that.
So-
That was
so-
one of those things.
But I mean, this is like complete harassment. Obviously, this going after this woman, going after Malishka. I think it's a bit much. But the funny thing is, and I don't know if I'm imagining this, but didn't the BMC have a return rap? Like, didn't they have
did.
a rap?
They also
did.
did.
They
So I
did.
was just watching this and thinking, this is like the rap battles. Okay, so this is like Remy Ma versus Nicki Minaj, and where clearly Malishka's Remy Ma because she's
Yeah.
owned Nicki Minaj
Correct.
back to front and front to back.
Yeah, because if they were going to have a battle about it, we could have had this could have been an event.
I
you
know.
like
Yeah.
at Shivaji Park.
Dude, we would have all paid to go. It's
Dude,
becoming
it would
funnier
be- it
and
would be
funnier as it
madness, like Shivaji
unfolded.
Park sold out.
Sold out.
Like
People have got late
30,000.
because of the potholes, but that's a different thing. Yeah.
And by the way, that picture of that there's some strip of road that was like an aerial shot had been taken. Was
Yeah,
all-
yeah.
I'm like, everyone must have thought that was their road.
Yeah.
Exactly. you
I
can't
looked at it and I
have-
was like, that's Shirley Rajan Road. There's no freaking
No,
way it's not.
when they were covering it in that Mirror Now show, they were showing photographs of the BMC office and panning it down. There are potholes
Outside
outside
there.
the BMC office.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, shameless here.
It is
Nee, but
shameless.
let's also put this into perspective, okay? You've lived in Bombay all your life?
Yes,
I've
absolutely.
lived in Bombay most
Yeah.
of my life. Radhika,
I've been a visitor on and off.
on
yeah.
and off. But this has been going on for years. For
Yes,
as long
this
as I
is
remember,
part of the
Sure.
thing.
Bombay roads have always had potholes.
Yeah.
Okay, so BMC has never been doing its job. It is,
Yeah.
and let's be honest, it is the most corrupt civic body
In the world.
in the world. I think,
Okay.
I think it's safe to say in
Absolutely.
the world because I cannot fathom for a civic body that's as rich as
I know,
they are,
right?
that has the kind of budgets that they do. How do we not have roads?
35,000 or
infrastructure, I know.
37,000 crores or something
and
like
Yeah.
that.
Dude, how is
How?
it
Yeah, I
possible?
agree.
And for a while, I used to always think, maybe we don't know how to build good
Yeah.
roads. Maybe that's just a thing with us. We don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
certain things. It's okay. Maybe we're learning.
I agree.
And then they built the new international airport.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a road connecting the highway to the airport. Have you seen that? Have you been?
Yeah, yeah, of
We've
course.
all been on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
road.
yeah.
That road is as good as any road you'll see anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Top class. It's never affected by rain. It's never affected by anything that happens. You
Yeah.
know, it's never affected. You can even rap on the road. Nothing happens to the road.
Yeah.
The road, it can handle
Yeah.
a rap as
Yeah.
well. But after that, you get out of the airport. Every other road is messed
Back
up.
to square
so
one.
that means what it means is basically we are capable of building
Yeah,
world class
but we
roads,
don't care.
but we don't.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know you guys know, but in Dubai, each and every road over there is made by Indians in Dubai.
Yeah.
It's either L&T or all these big companies
Correct.
or Shapurji, Palunji, all these guys, all the infrastructure, they don't have anybody.
Yeah.
So it's all by
Yeah.
Indian companies who do it and nothing happens. Probably they don't have enough rains. I'm saying if that's really the
Yeah.
argument. But also what I saw in this thing, which I read, that not all roads are made by BMC apparently. There's some made by PWD, some by MMRDA. So I don't know, in their defense, seriously,
Okay.
I don't know that
How it
airport
works.
road is made by BMC or no, but we have the technology. That's the
Yeah.
point. We
Ah,
can
that's
make
because
roads.
even-
It's not that we can't
having
make
so
roads.
much money and having
Yeah.
when you have this much money and the job is so shitty, it's like the BMC are like how my friends and I were when we were in college. We used to take money from our parents for waxing and then we'd go and shave. It's a common ploy to get a couple of hundreds extra here and there.
Yeah, I don't think it would be such
Basically
a
what
bad
they're
idea
doing.
if we start filling our potholes with wax.
Yeah.
What else is left? At
Dude,
least
but
when
it
you
is
go
scary. I use
inside-
autos a lot. I don't
Yeah.
have a car or anything. And in Bandra, I use autos all the time. I mean, if I'm traveling in Bandra, what else am I going to do? And honestly, just getting out of out of Shirley Rajan Road is frightening if it's raining because you don't even know how deep those things are.
Yeah,
The autos
exactly.
are so unstable. It's crazy.
And
dude.
it's now reached a
crazy.
point where it's no longer there are potholes on the road. People are losing their lives.
Yeah.
That
There's-
biker who
There
died
was a
last week.
biker who
Yeah.
died last week, and there's this yoga instructor who was a former DD news anchor.
Yeah.
The coconut tree fell on her.
Oh, Jesus God.
There's a video of it, and it's so sad
Even
to
last
watch.
year, I think since I read the newspaper, last year also like 2-3 people died because of potholes.
Potholes, trees falling. It's like they are slowly turning our city into this very twisted version of Temple Run. So you get out of the house and now you have to you're dodging
Yeah,
dodging
absolutely.
shit the whole
falling
time.
trees, you're dodging
Exactly.
potholes. And
Oh,
I don't know.
man.
And their response to all of this is a rap.
Oh my God, I
Like,
couldn't
we will
believe
rap
it.
to this.
And actually, if you really analyze Malishka's rap also, she
Yeah.
really didn't. I mean, she's, if you, I mean, when I used to go for work, every morning I used to listen to Malishka.
Yeah.
And she was like, she's been doing it since years, these
Yeah.
songs,
Yeah,
and she
yeah.
calls up the BMC guys, you know,
Yeah.
has fun with them on the phone and
Yeah.
all that. So I don't know what their really issue was. You know, why did they get so
I feel
upset
like
about it?
But there seems to be like this wave of stuff happening now, right? Like it's
Yeah, they're aping what they're seeing how other, what do you say?
people are behaving.
Other
Like all
people
these
are
people are
behaving.
filing FIRs and doing all this
Just-
rubbish.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
everyone
let's
thinks
get-
that it's
get
okay
away
to
with
do
it.
it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
become part of the culture now.
Yeah.
Okay, so how dare anybody question us?
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
you guys are elected officials, you serve us. Technically, we pay your salaries.
Yeah. Which
So-
Faye D'Souza was quick to point out finally. She
Yeah.
was like, dude, I mean, she wasn't talking about this particular thing, I don't
No, I
think.
think
Or
it was
she
the
was
same
just
thing,
this
same thing,
exact
same
this
thing,
exact thing. I mean, like I pointed out on Twitter, that we have more assholes than potholes, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just so sad.
Atul, you also had a joke, na? In India.
I know that's my joke you've been copying since
No, I
last.
promise you, it's the same old joke.
No, it's he has
It's a
a different. Tera kya
7-year-old
tha?
joke of mine.
Oh,
Mumbai
really?
roads have two types of...
Oh.
Mumbai roads have two types
Oh,
of
yeah, that's true.
Potholes
Actually,
and
sorry,
assholes.
I totally copied your joke.
Thank you. It's okay,
But
but...
it was in my
Any-
subconscious mind.
So you have to see Daniel's 3
I
episodes
just
before when they
tweeted,
talked about plagiarism. So
Assholes, yeah, exactly. This is why I stopped watching anything because I feel like I'm copying everyone's jokes now. No, but there are more assholes than potholes. They're
Absolutely.
literally. No, what was your joke though?
Same
Was it
thing.
the?
Same.
Did you have another
No,
one
yeah,
though? I feel like yours was about something.
No, it's mine.
It was
the
the
other
exact
one was
same.
gun control.
That is-
What was the one?
Daniel loves a lot.
No, that's the family audience.
Family audience, yeah.
Is it
Daniel's
really a
got
family
family
audience?
audience?
Oh shit! Then we've already overstepped one line.
Nee,
At
but-
least.
Okay, let's be, let's fucking admit that these guys are not doing their jobs. Number
No,
one.
they're not.
And B, because there's no profit in them doing their jobs. I'll give you an example. Okay, this happened. So I moved to Santa Cruz a few months ago, and the road outside my house, right? They started digging it up. They dug up the entire stretch, shut it off from both sides, and they tarred it after they got done with their work. They left it for about 4 days as it is, and then dug it up again.
Good God.
A fully
You must have forgotten
functional-
something inside. Yeah, some
I
tools or
don't know whether they
something.
must have dropped
They're
some
assholes.
lyrics. No, they must have dropped the lyrics for some rap
Yeah,
song
God.
in that. But a fully functional road, they dug up all over again. And now for about 2.5 months, we could not use that road. And then they put concrete and now it's a concrete road.
Okay.
So it's very clear what's going on over here. So every 6 months, they'll say maintenance.
Yeah.
They'll say we're
Yeah.
repairing, we're fixing. So basically what's happening is it's just nothing but kickbacks.
See, what I've understood the process now, again, not really in their defense, is that soon after monsoons,
Yeah.
which goes over in Bombay by around September, October, do all these companies like the gas electric companies, who have to lay the cables
Yeah.
and all the telecom companies, they put in there, think we have to dig up
We
this
have to
road.
dig up, yeah.
Apparently, these get cleared by December, Jan. Then they start digging, and by the time they complete the work and get it's already the next monsoon. So it's a thing which has been going on. That's why what happened in the end is just shortly cover it up. Chalo, khatam karo kaam.
But my
Let's go home.
point is also, okay, like this is India's biggest
I know, that's the
metropolitan
thing,
city.
right?
Okay, there are underground cables
Yeah.
and gas lines all over the world.
Yeah.
And so whenever, even abroad, when they have maintenance to be done, it's done in an order. They don't dig up everything and like they're searching for fossils and
Yeah, exactly.
like they're discovering oil. They have manholes that they open and everything is arranged. What is our problem? Why do we enjoy mediocrity? Why do we
We do enjoy mediocrity. That's
this
why.
is India. Like, this is the city that we are holding up and saying, come to India, like come to Bombay, and we have this and we have that. We don't have roads.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so sad. This is the most basic of any infrastructure. That's
The two things I guess I do notice when I travel is the roads in its entirety, like the road itself, and then the amount of space that pedestrians have to walk on safely.
Actually, yeah. Whenever you land in any
Right,
country,
like
the
any
first thing,
country. Like I feel like I've landed in Sri Lanka and thought that. Like, it's not even, I'm not even talking about like, London or whatever. I'm saying anywhere. I feel like I get there and I'm like, wow, they have pavements for people to walk on.
Yeah.
And they're safe.
Two metrics that I used to assess how good any country is. One is how good their roads are and how they treat their women. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I
How
don't
you
mean to
treat us
compare.
women.
I don't mean to compare
us.
roads to women. Somebody will get pissed off. How dare you compare?
Nice roads and well-treated ladies.
And then
Good
we
roads
look
and
at
respected chicks. No, but
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, literally roads. There's something because see, a road is a publicly owned place, right? So
Yeah.
how you keep your roads even, like garbage being on the street. So anything like it just shows what you're like, man. It's very sad.
Do you think there's ever going to be an end to this? Will we ever have?
I think, I'll tell you what, I'm very positive about it.
That's
That even
good.
when Modi ji 3 years back did this Swachh Bharat campaign, whatever it is, whether people are making money out of it or people are not taking it seriously. But it was actually first time a prime minister
Spoke
about it and
Cleanliness.
said, okay, whatever, it was a sham. He went with his jhadu and did all that, and people just started putting, apparently in some places they started putting dust and then started cleaning it just to show for the media. Yeah, actually
There
found
is a
out
place
about
in
it.
India we need to
Funny.
throw dust
Yeah,
on to
but
make it look dirty.
then
Where
put
is this
more
place?
probably sort of kachara
okay,
to sort
got
of
it.
remove it.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, at least they're talking about
Got
it.
it.
There's a campaign which is running
Yeah.
earlier, which was not there.
Yeah.
So I think he really means it, but
Yeah.
it's just again it just gets filtered down, and by the
Yeah.
time it reaches
Yeah.
that, it's again back to same. Because
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think really has improved anything much. It's just
Yeah.
probably around that day, I think, which is Gandhiji's birthday or someday where it's sort of independence. One of these days where suddenly they bring
Yeah.
about the campaign again starts. But yeah, how it is. But still, I'm actually happy at least somebody's talking about it. We have a
Yeah.
campaign for it, which was not there earlier.
See, also, to be fair, I'll play devil's advocate and say that a lot of people who work in government offices don't get paid as much as maybe, like you say, a corporate job and
Yeah,
stuff like
private
that.
sector.
Most in the
Sure.
private sector, the public sector obviously is paying. And so sometimes they also have aspirations and they want, okay, I also want to have a nice TV, or I want to take my kids out on an international holiday. So yeah, you make money off kickbacks, bribes, all that. I'm saying, okay, actually, if you still want like commission, you want to make a little extra on the side for doing something that you're supposed to do anyways for them. I'm still okay with that. This is not even a question of principle, but just give us what we want at least.
Yeah.
Na?
Make the
If you
roads
make
well
the
one
roads
time.
amazing, no potholes, you then rakh lena.
Yeah.
You keep no one.
But I was in Gurgaon, which is another. Some of the roads in those private colonies, like in the colonies, like their main roads are decent, but I feel like the roads in private, they're just unbelievable. There's some roads that are just not even roads, they're just rubble. So my husband and I were going somewhere and exiting one of those colonies, and it was raining, and there was this old bent up man, trying to put like broken bits of brick and stuff into potholes.
Yeah, they do such
And
horrible jobs.
he was just pouring brick. It had gone from being a pothole to now being a little mountain.
Yeah, and they'll
there are
just-
these mountains all the way down the road, and there's one contractor guy who was standing in the shade, smoking with one hat. Basically, just he was in charge. I'm like, fuck, man. This is,
I don't know. Let's hope things improve, but
I think
yeah.
things might improve.
Yeah.
Eventually, if we all continue to make. But that's the thing, though. See, the only way things will improve is if people speak up and
Yeah,
they're
because
frustrated and
now-
pissed off. But when we do that, then they want to come and look for mosquito larvae and God only knows what else in our homes.
Because
that's
now they're
scary,
saying,
man.
if you raise your voice, we'll come to your house
Yeah,
and
we'll
find
come
a
to your
reason
house.
to penalize
In fact,
you.
you should do, if you want to find if there are mosquito larvae in the house,
Yeah.
you should do something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
don't
It's like,
know.
I was
To
waiting
use a
for you
reverse
guys.
on them.
Come
Yeah.
on in. There's a whole bunch of shit I'm worried that's living in
Yeah.
my house. Can you please find all of it?
And that's what I'm saying, because before this becomes one of those things where you are scared to speak up because
Yeah.
they'll harass you,
Yeah.
this needs to be squashed. Because I can understand the sentiment of the general public when they go, what, I'm not a Malishka.
Yeah.
Okay, I will not be able to get the kind of support she's getting right
Yeah.
now. I'll just get screwed over quietly
Yeah,
and
yeah,
no
yeah.
one's going to stand up.
Yeah.
And this is becoming one of those passive observer
Yeah.
situations. And I think it's something needs to be done, because for the longest time, if you come, anybody who's visiting Bombay, you'll always hear stuff like the spirit of Mumbai. And the spirit of, I don't think there's a spirit of Mumbai. I just
I think we're
there is
pretending there is one right
there's
now.
a
And
chalta hai
Yeah.
attitude of
Yeah.
we are just we are willing to turn a blind eye to stuff like this as long as it's not one of us who's dying.
It was actually never a spirit. It was just a question of survival.
Survival,
Yeah.
yeah.
Next day you have to go to work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm also now trying to say is that, dude, we shouldn't have to bring our existence down to survival,
I
especially
know.
when given the amount of taxes we pay, given the
Yeah,
amount
yeah.
of given
Everything,
everything
man.
that this city contributes to, not just the state but also the government, the
Yeah.
central government. So I don't know what.
No, things will improve, dude. Yes.
Before you.
Be positive. Before we
Before
die,
Atul
Atul.
leaves.
Before Atul leaves us.
Atul wants to be able to cycle 100 kilometers within Juhu.
Within
Yeah.
Juhu.
Yeah,
without
absolutely.
Within Bombay.
falling into a
I know.
pothole.
It's true.
Fair enough. So let's hope that happens and Atul does.
That comes to pass.
And cycling around Juhu. And that brings us to Atul, your comment. So you have a very interesting backstory to.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with roads and all that.
This is a different kind of
a road
pothole.
which I had
This
to
is
travel
a different
once.
kind of
Yeah.
pothole. So yeah, tell us what this is about before you read it.
Yeah, so first the context. So this is, this was Comedy Store. Actually, the same place where we are right
Where
now.
we are
Cambridge
right
is
now.
not
When it
Cambridge,
used to
it was
be Comedy
Comedy
Store.
Store.
Yeah.
So when Comedy Store left from this premises, they wanted to, so they started their own venue at St. Andrew's Auditorium. And for their first inaugural show, it was, the lineup was me, Sapan Verma and Rohan Joshi. We were there. And so because they wanted to promote it, they sort of called out of bloggers and paid/called. I don't know what the arrangement is, but they told us that a lot of these sort of people will come and cover the show. The critics would come and cover the show. And so this one critic came, Miss Malini, and she was there, and she saw the show. And in all honesty, I'm being fairly this about it, that I did very well in the show. It was not that, and the crowd loved me
Sure.
because it was like. Probably I was that time on probably a newer face, and it was in Bandra and Andrew, so I called a lot of, I didn't invite, I sort of sent out the message. A lot of people came to watch me. Comedians in the green room will say, "Oh man, you really destroyed tonight." So I really got the feedback from both Sapan and Rohan, and but next day or day after that, she wrote like she killed me.
A scathing review.
Yeah, absolutely bad. And when you're a
Because
comedian starting new,
it's an area of knowledge and interest. Carry on.
yeah, and when you're as a comedian, you're starting new, it really
know.
throws you back. Like I said, oh shit, is it
Yeah.
like, and what also funny that time I was also doing my job. So this, okay, so first when I read the review, I said, chal, let me try to hide it. Like, whoever read.
Yeah.
Then
I'm
I
not
said,
retweeting
no.
this one.
Yeah, I said, no. This I have to retweet it. Because
Yeah.
this is, again, I'm saying, going by, I'm old.
Yeah.
So I've been through worse than
Sure,
these
exactly,
things. It's
it's
like,
true.
this is nothing for me. Like now I reach the stage. If you've seen the movie Matrix, Keanu Reeves reaches that one stage in the third movie where he's just like fighting this Mr. Spitz, like just looking here and there. So I've reached that stage where like
you can take anything
yeah,
that
like
comes your way. Yeah.
I've been through marriage, I've been through like 2 teenage kids, like mother-in-law, what all, So, so I've been through all that. This is like, so I said, and also actually, I mean, it's a small story, but I was inspired by this movie. There's a movie, Kala Patthar, Yash Chopra movie, I think. And in there, there's a scene where Amitabh Bachchan is a captain of a ship. The ship is apparently about to sink, and Amitabh Bachchan jumps off the ship, takes a boat and jumps off. But next day when he gets up, the ship is still there, and he gets accused of captain should never abandon a ship. And so he's going through the press conference, and somebody tells him, listen, there's all that press, media, everybody's here, and people are going to hit you, and and so go from the back gate. And he says, no, I have to go through this, let me live my destiny. Some dialogue was there. So I've gone into that phase. So even when I have a bad show, a lot of comedians, they sort of run away to their rooms.
Yeah.
But the time I have the bad show, I always go on the audience. I say, chalo, no, hit it. Like, chalo, let me, like, and then people say, oh, you were good, or the crowd was not good, or this was not good. But I know, okay, come on, give it to me. So I said, let me tweet about it. I RT'd it. I went on Facebook and I put it and I said, you win some, you lose some, and things like that, But let me read this,
so
what she has
read it.
written. Yeah, that's most important, So she wrote, oh boy, now how do I put this? It is very rarely that a comedy show makes you sad. The kind of sad you feel when a puppy gets run over right in front of your eyes.
Oh my God.
I feel bad cause I wanted to like you. I really did. You seem like a nice guy. The green pants were even kind of trendy. And I totally giggled at the Guju jibes. But did you really have to do the dirty old man route? Which I am actually.
Yes, actually, honey.
I mean, I give her the credit. And do you really have to do it on toilet humor block? I'm sorry, but I'm unfollowing you until you clean up your act. Literally. Okay, so I think before the show, because she was supposed to cover it, she followed us on Twitter.
Yeah.
So then I went into this little fight with her. I said, ma'am, I told her, thank you, ma'am, thank you for your feedback.
Yeah.
And then she wrote back to me saying that, listen, if you don't clean up your act, I will unfollow you, So I told her, ma'am, see, listen, given, a pawn over a pretty girl, at this age, I still choose pawn,
Okay,
So
because
please
you
go.
had that 5-minute kill up on set.
Yeah, which is
Okay.
I love
That's the
that
one-
set.
that's the one she didn't like.
She didn't like that probably. See, but and so I said please and she unfollowed me. You know, and it was okay.
Wow.
It was okay. I mean, see, honestly, I'll tell you what. I still respect. She wrote about it.
Yeah.
She's a critic. She's supposed to write about it. And if she filed an FIR against me,
I know.
Yeah.
or taken me to court or something, that would have been a different
Sure.
thing. But in all fairness, she did what she
It's
had to
her
do,
opinion,
and she has that. She has to cover her thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I still give respect to what she wrote, or that's her opinion. But later on, so when the Comedy Store people told me that she's going to cover it, and then after that I told them, listen, like she gave such a bad article. So she said, yeah, apparently, I don't know, could be right, could be wrong. I don't. Those guys are back in London. She said, yeah, she said, I will write one negative review, so that to show that I'm impartial, So apparently that was the thing.
So
I don't know.
It was like
So I was probably the guy
the
on
one
that.
that
But
she picked.
yeah, but again, I'm saying I'm still giving her credit. See, listen, last night I saw Dunkirk. The movie. Dunkirk.
I
That's
haven't
how you
seen that.
pronounce it.
Yeah, Dunkirk, yeah.
Dunkirk. And honestly, I didn't like it much.
Yeah.
Probably I had a tiring day. I
Yeah.
was sleepy. I didn't go through the nuances which you're supposed to go in a Nolan movie, but I didn't like it. And probably I'll see it again. I may like it.
Yeah.
So. But it's that, and people are going gaga over the
Yeah,
movie.
of course.
So
Yeah, I also saw it, and I mean, I liked it, but I felt like something was amiss.
yeah, I found it too
Like
boring.
I would have
I
liked
found
it
it
if
too boring.
yeah, I would have liked it if there were more characters. It was just.
Yeah, but
But the thing is also now, because it's a Nolan film, there's only one way to watch a Nolan film. Now, you go, you watch the movie, and you say thank you Nolan for making this, and you walk out. Because he's reached a level
I
where
haven't watched this film.
he's reached a level where it's like, okay, if I didn't get it now, I think there's something wrong with me only.
I
I
don't
come
know.
back. It's a good film.
Yeah.
I like how he has how he's structured it and stuff like that. But just that there was no single character where you as an audience were invested.
yeah, but actually then when today morning I put it up and I said let's have a healthy discussion about this movie. So a lot of on my fan page, like already there's some 300-400 comments where people have said, and some people have given like real good points.
Yeah.
Like this movie he made that it's not a war movie. He made it from the point of view from the soldiers. Like they could see their land there, but still they couldn't cross it. And people have not seen the spoilers, but I'm sure you would see it by that time. But yeah, so it was. And when I read those things, I said, yeah, probably if you look at it from this sense, but and I didn't like it. So just like she didn't like my show, I respect her opinion.
But I like dirty old man.
I know.
And I mean, it was not so bad that a puppy
That is-
running
yeah,
in
puppy-
front of your
yeah, puppy
eyes,
running
and like
was-
it was not that. See, we comedians know when there is silence in the other, when you're going through a bad set. Like
Yeah.
there's death, But I mean, I got a great applause, and people after the show came to me, and also when I read this, and I said, "Oh shit, yeah!" Like, and that's the time really I was starting.
Can I ask you a question? Did you care about it? Like, did it hit you initially?
Obviously,
and then
it'll hit you,
did,
yeah,
right?
because
Like,
she's got
really
like some
badly.
zillion followers
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Twitter,
So
and
did
yeah,
you-
she's
So just to also give listeners a perspective, okay, in the Indian comedy scene, we still do not have a system of comedy critics or comedy reviews that are legitimate and that have
in movies also
credibility.
there's nobody like this.
But the guys who review movies still have been doing it for a while. They know
Yeah,
how
yeah,
to
you're
it's
right.
an older craft.
like the
Yeah.
reviews, like one
that.
thing that really annoys me about reviews, and also I noticed it in this particular one, is that she mentioned punchlines.
Yeah.
So as a comedy critic, the first thing you never do
Yeah.
is reveal punchline. You should never reveal a punchline. You can say, Atul spoke about these things, and
Yeah.
I loved a bit about how
Yeah.
he fell into a pothole and suddenly he became a very good rapper. But you can't reveal actual punchlines.
Did she mention that the crowd was going crazy? Because
Yeah,
she
yeah.
did mention it.
She said the crowd. She think I don't wonder why these people are losing.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm
going
glad
crazy.
she said that though,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like if she had left that out, it would have been weird.
No. So in all fairness,
it's
so
all
I
cool, yeah,
think it was from her point of view.
Yeah.
She didn't enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic, and I think there's a right way of her to sort of express her opinion.
Yeah.
And
We've all got shitty reviews.
No,
no?
I got
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So when I was in Dubai, I did a show there, and the next day, some review came, and I was Atul of that show. Everyone else was well, I expected so much more, and I went into like depression. I
Yeah.
was like, And I
So
don't
this
know
guy
this
now
some-
anyway goes into depression for small thing. I'm a very old friend of his, so I know.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
yeah.
not everything. What?
A lot of other things also. I know one or two shows and you didn't do well and you bloody you're eating dinner and he was like with his head down as if somebody had died or something. I said, "Kya ho gaya tere ko? It's a bloody show, yaar." We did some to take. I'll remind
Maybe,
you later.
but
Huh.
now obviously my shows are much better. But not like
Also, we don't care. I think you care less as it goes along because otherwise you'll burn yourself out, if you care about every single
See,
comic.
but the thing is,
such a public thing.
But the thing is also we've never gotten into that space of caring because we don't have, like I said, we don't have that system. It's only now I think that Devang Phatak has started this thing with the review comedy special, and
Yeah.
I've read those reviews, and those reviews are good.
Are
They're
they
good.
incisive? Okay,
They're
that's nice.
incisive. They don't reveal punchlines, and they're done by people who know what stand up is. But there is that one question about are comedians too sensitive?
I think it depends on comedian to comedian. But over here, let me tell you finally one thing I want to
Yeah.
add over here. I always believe because sometimes when you're performing, there are younger comics also with you, and after the set they come and tell me, "Sir, how did I do?" And I tell him, "Listen, as a comedian, first of all, 4-5 year old industry, we don't have the bloody standing to first of all
Yeah.
even critic. Number one. Number two is that the audience decides.
Yeah.
If the audience has a great time,
Yeah.
to a
Correct.
large extent, they are the judge.
Totally.
I cannot say, oh, this set was this. You should
Yeah,
really,
it's
kind
like
of
one of
thing.
the only art forms where the feedback is instant.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
instant.
Like it really doesn't. I don't.
where the
see-
feedback is swift and merciless.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't see why. Like for the longest time, I had a big problem with critics of any sort. I'm like film critics. I'm like, you guys have never made a film. What do you
Yeah.
know what it takes to put yourself out there? Same with comics.
Yeah.
People write, oh, this joke wasn't good, that bit wasn't. I'm like, you don't even know. But Devang, the same guy, he just released an article a couple of days ago about why it's important to have critics in comedy, and he actually had a couple of really valid points, because then what happens if you don't, you end up there's a danger of our industry going into a space where Bollywood is in right now, where there are just a complete circle jerk of people just patting each other on the back.
Yeah.
Nobody has the guts to tell somebody that your film is shit. But when you look at the numbers, 9 out of 10 Bollywood movies are not profitable.
Yeah.
They are flops. And there is I think maybe he has a point when he says that there is a danger that you guys could become like that. Wherein,
Yeah, I agree with that.
because
actually,
whenever
now
a
that you
comic,
pointed out.
because whenever a comic asks me
Yeah.
how was my set, I don't have it. Even if I thought it was a shit set,
Yeah.
I will just be like, oh, very good. And so there.
Also, I feel like that's not even the venue to, like, I don't know if I wanted feedback. Like, I'm just saying, if any young comic is listening to these words, if I wanted feedback, I'd first of all go to somebody pre my set, like before I went on stage, and say that, look, I really want feedback on this piece that I'm doing today. Would you be able to do it? And if I agreed at that point, then I can give them, because then I'm looking at the set to give them feedback. And 9 out of 10 times I'm not going to give feedback on the joke, because that's, it's a sensibility
Yeah,
thing as
you
well,
just
right?
go
Whatever I'm going to
deliver
say,
it
like,
and you learn,
I don't
yeah.
like that joke, make it like that, then it's
Yeah.
my joke,
Yeah.
So, however you give feedback is your business. I feel like for me, I'd probably look at someone's set and say, okay, that could be shorter, or I want to hear more of that. Like, that's the kind of feedback I give.
yeah.
But I need to know I'm watching to give feedback. I
Yeah.
can't watch, because otherwise I watch as a spectator always. Like, whenever I come to an open mic, even if I'm one in a lineup, I chill and watch the people before
Correct.
and after me like I'm
Correct.
a member of the audience. It's the one time I get to sort of do
Yeah.
that, so it's
Yeah.
fun. So after that, if you come to me and are like, give me feedback, I'm like, fuck, I was really listening as an audience member, so I
yeah,
can't
not
really
really
give
from
you
a critic
feedback as a
point of view,
comedian,
yeah.
But I think also another point where critics do play, I think now they do play an important role, is because in a live show, the feedback is so instant. The time between delivery and response is so short. Like, an audience member watching a live show is not going to analyze your whole bit as a whole. He's just going to set up punchline. That was funny. I laughed. It matters. Whereas what a critic will do is he will sit back and from a distance analyze the entire bit, analyze what parts of the bit were strong, what parts of the bit probably could need work, and maybe it's a way for us to know where we can improve if you want to take it with a pinch of salt, and if you respect the critic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because also, what if you observe now, any comedian who has a little bit of success or a lot of success and has fans, dude, the problem with fans is they're so forgiving.
Yeah, they are.
That's a trap in itself. The fans will applaud mediocre work. and make you feel like you've written the best shit in the
Yeah.
world, and then suddenly a third party who's never heard of you will go like, dude, what is this?
But Uruj tweeted that, right? She said that sometimes you weren't funny, but okay, she didn't say it like that. She said it more succinctly, but something to the effect of people aren't laughing because you're funny right now. They're laughing because they knew you were funny at some point, right?
Yes.
So they're like, oh, Radhika was funny as fuck. We saw her last show, whatever. And then I can come and at an open mic, I can fuck around a little bit with the audience and they know I'm funny from the last show, so they let me be. And then I walk off thinking I fucking killed it when actually all I did was fuck around with someone in the front row of the audience like an asshole instead of trying out my jokes. Because I'm like, I'm so funny. No, you can't take it for granted. Yeah, I agree with that. If you listen to it's like an echo chamber. If the only place you're listening to are your fans, it's an echo chamber.
Because then you're not raising your standard. Because this guy reviewed a bunch of the specials that came out on
the Amazon specials.
So I think barring Biswa and Kanan, I think everyone else got,
but honestly, let me tell you, I mean, I've not read his reviews. I've just read one or two, but today when I look at it, since you're talking about it, Amazon special, for me also Biswa and Kanan's, and to a large extent even Zakir's were my three top ones.
Those three were the best.
In terms of production value, in terms of the content
the writing
and things like that. Yeah, I think that really is. I think also
exactly, and that's why I'm saying. So his reviews are, and it's not just him reviewing. It's like a bunch of people under that banner who are reviewing, and it reflects that same sentiment.
Sure.
So I'm like, fair. I mean, I think it's fair to have.
Yeah, it's important. It's important. Absolutely important.
Reviewing our work and not probably be dismissive of them, because otherwise we'll just keep patting ourselves on the back. No comic is ever going to come and tell you unless he's really close.
It's a funny thing that people expect comedians to be completely insensitive to criticism. It's an odd thing. It's like, oh, please, you can stand up there and make fun of it. That's our fucking job, is to stand up there and make fun of everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we have to be able to take any shit thrown at us. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we are still creative people, and by nature, a lot of that brings some sensitivity and insecurity, actually. That, in fact, if that's the thing you need to know, we're the most insecure people. We're so vulnerable in a way, right? We put so much of our personal shit out there. So, yeah, we are going to be fucking sensitive, even though we should be able to take it.
Yeah, we are human beings also.
We're human beings, you guys. I bleed when I'm cut. Generally bleed also, but...
Okay, so what do you think is the best response to critics? Like, if you were to encounter something like this again, how would you respond?
No, I will take. So I will analyze it again. I will analyze it. No. So actually, first of all, also when this came out, I remember at that time, two very senior comedians called me and told me that, listen, she's like that only. Ignore. Just let it be, because they knew probably, because I was just starting out at that time, and it really threw me back. And also, what happened, as I told you, since I was doing my a corporate job also then. One of my fellow directors also read this, because I had only posted about it on Facebook and Twitter. And he said that, listen, there's a negative review coming. When you go up on stage, do you make a disclaimer saying that what you say is your own work and not of the company?
Oh, wow.
So you should probably, can you go and say that? I said, listen, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
This is anyway this is my personal view. It doesn't, because, so it sort of, it went even to there.
It became a little
otherwise, but most of my Facebook friends and fans say, hey, dude, it's okay. I mean, happy that you put this up and things like that, and kind of thing, And I've, after that, actually, I worked with Miss Malini also, again, for some other projects and things like that. So it was okay to take it in stride. It was okay. I mean, you didn't like it, I mean,
yeah. Also, I think you guys tweeted back and forth about it.
Right?
We tweeted. So, I mean,
it was okay. It ended that.
Yeah, I think best take it to the pinch of salt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This white hat didn't come like that. I didn't paint it inside. It comes with.
Take it with a pinch of salt, and if you see her, just push her into a pothole.
But one thing which happened, just to close this loop.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
One thing to close this loop is that I think last year she came again for a show, not to review it, but just she came to watch the show. And then she tweeted, and coincidentally happened at the same venue at St. Andrew's Auditorium, and she said that glad to see that Atul Khatri has really upped his game now. So it was like a
those are nice.
happy ending to the story, and then I also respect her for that, because
Don't say happy ending, you dirty one.
Yeah.
You
I'm a
filthy
dirty old
swine.
man.
You wish it was happy.
Yeah, actually. Sick you guys, I guess. I'm a Sida Sada guy, just put things in my head, yeah.
So next time I go on tour with Atul, I'm just going to carry a small GoPro camera and just leave it on, and you'll see the real Atul. Like this is not the real Atul.
Sick, dirty old man.
There is a reason why his last name is an anagram for Tharki, by the way. Okay?
Oh, is it?
Is it?
Khatri,
Yeah.
Tharki,
Oh,
yeah.
shit. It is. That's
Well,
funny. That's funny.
moving on to my comment, the one I selected was, so this was something that was in the news recently where I think a company called Culture Machine, they started a new leave policy where they
Oh, yeah, I read about
give period leave to the female employees.
Okay.
So either
It'd be
on
pretty
the
funny if
first-
they gave period leave to the guys.
To the guys, yeah.
You guys can have period leave when your wife's
You
So
know
this is
how
actually a
girlfriends.
leave during when women.
Yeah, so this is a new thing.
It's new, trust
that they're
me.
trying out in a couple of organizations, and so it was a huge.
So basically,
it
a woman
turned
gets
into
one day off.
a day or two.
Okay.
I think
Day
it's
or
under
two.
the company
Okay.
policy.
Day or two is pretty good.
Because the first day of your period is
Like 30 days
Is
more
the-
holiday.
is
Like
the
12
worst.
days and more in a year. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I don't
so-
know. The first day is the worst, Danny. Yeah.
Or second day. I don't
Second
know. From
day.
my
It's like-
experience.
From your experience, yeah, exactly. From
my-
Danny's
he's a woman
experience, it's the
himself,
first
like-
day.
From my experience, yeah, first and second day. I mean,
Yeah. I guess it's sort of like a 3 to 5 day cycle. So I guess the woman can pick whichever day. Like it'd be pretty funny if they're
Yeah.
like, "Is it your first day?" You
how do you
sure,
check?
girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I've heard, right?
Whatever.
First, second day.
Yeah,
It is-
usually. I mean, it depends.
I mean,
Some
it
people.
gets
I,
easier.
by the way, am one of those people who literally never felt anything. I was blessed, but I have like literally nothing, no reaction.
Boost, na? Because you grew up having Boost.
Was it Boost?
I don't-
I wonder if it was Boost. It was something. It was something. But some people are luckier than others. Some people, like I had a friend
Yeah.
who would come to work, but she and I were roommates, and it was difficult for her to come to work.
Yeah, I know, because I mean, I've heard a lot about this. Like even so, some of like my friends,
Yeah.
and some of the relationships I've been with that time of the month, it has been really bad.
Yeah.
So I expected that a move like this would be welcomed by everyone.
Yeah.
Like, with open arms. But it turns out that there are a lot of women who are opposing this.
I read about that.
And what are the
new
reasons?
Policy. So
What are
we'll get into that. So they were opposing, and there was a whole fight between women. Women themselves are fighting,
Yeah.
and I expected men to be morons about it and
Yeah.
go, hey, what, but it was more women fighting. So
Yeah.
so one woman tweeted this, which I thought just summed it up really well.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "So sick of women shaming other women for taking period leave. Every girl's period is different. Some more painful. Be kind to your own gender."
Yeah.
You get, I think, summed it up well. So to answer your question, they were saying stuff like, this is setting women back. Women should not be given this leave. It's hurting women empowerment. And I was
okay.
like, how is this hurting women? This isn't even about empowerment. This is more about empathy, where you're just saying, okay, I understand. This is a situation. And I mean, can you imagine working on a day where...
Yeah, I mean,
Dude, like as men, okay, let's say men, we get one cut.
Yeah.
And we're bleeding a little bit.
No,
Like,
we'll-
dude, I can't
I can't
do
man,
anything
nothing,
today. It's
yeah.
just, my pinky is bleeding, and it's just the life has come to a standstill.
Yeah.
So this is something that women have been dealing with every month
Yeah.
for so many years. And
Now they're just legitimizing and validating
do you think,
it.
Radhika, that this is affecting empowerment?
No, I mean, I'm not, look, to be honest, I don't have a strict point of view right now because I read a couple of different sides of it, right? And one of them is where these girls are saying, women are saying, the ones who are against it, are
Yeah.
saying that, this is going to give employers another excuse not to want to hire women. So,
fair enough.
right, like I get it. It's kind of like the safety issue, like the sexual harassment issues. The problem is it's a patriarchal structure already in place. So anything feels like women are causing a scene. When actually, had we started the deal, had it been a matriarchal structure,
society, yeah.
we would have all had a period day off from the beginning of time and no one would have questioned
Or
it.
if men had periods, then
Then
there
it
won't
would
be
have
an
been like
issue,
whatever,
yeah.
right? So I don't know. I personally, as a woman, if I had a woman working for me and she came to me and said, listen, I need a damn day off for this thing, I'd have been like, yeah, sure, no problem. I don't see it as a big deal. I wouldn't hold it against her. To me, it's like taking a freaking sick day. I don't see the big deal of it.
And some people did say that, why can't, you have your sick leave.
You anyway have your
quota,
sick
you can
leaves.
have it.
Like,
But
yeah.
then the argument there is that this is not an illness.
Yeah, it's not an
You're not
illness.
sick.
That's
Yeah,
true.
This is, physiological condition that
it's kind of like the maternity leave argument in a
Exactly.
way. It's not like it's not sick leave. It's a specific thing that
exactly
that
it's
only
just
they
something
can
specific.
do.
Exactly,
And so,
also given the fact that you get what 10 sick leaves or 12 sick, I
Yeah, you don't
know
even
what the
get that
policy
many.
is.
Yeah,
You don't even
exactly.
get that
You don't even
many.
get enough for a whole year.
Exactly.
of
So you're going to
periods.
use them up. Yeah, you
Yeah,
get
you
more
don't-
period than
exactly.
you get
Sick
sick
leave
leave.
days,
So
of
you have more
course,
periods.
yeah.
Yeah. So then what's going to happen is you're going to run out of sick leaves.
Absolutely.
And
So when
then
you're really sick, you
really
can't
sick,
do
what are you gonna
anything. I agree. I mean, personally, I think it's awesome that a company is trying to do this to see how it works out. I do believe that, there was a time when there were so many other things that they weren't letting women do, man, and now they are. And at
Like
the time, it seemed
working
weird.
itself.
Like
Women
working itself,
couldn't
like you couldn't go to an
work. Yeah,
office,
you
right?
couldn't work. Yeah.
Exactly. So everyone get over it. It'll become a more normalized thing. And you know what I also think? I think that there is a bit of a hangover to this day that women in jobs are not as serious as men. I think part of the attitude towards, now they're getting a fucking day off for their period. It stems a little bit from the fact that, acha, now one more holiday, chutti, like these chicks, they're doing whatever they want kind of thing. I feel like there's a large group of people, including women, who don't necessarily see women as equally invested in their careers or their jobs as men. So I feel like there is a little bit of a hangover of that, and that sometimes leads to this attitude, even though it may not be articulated as such.
Atul, what do you think?
Was it period leave? I think it's okay, yaar. I mean, as long as the organization is not a problem, what's your problem here?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It's
see,
every
it's-
organization's.
Correct. It's not a government.
Yeah.
Mandate
It's not a
or
labor law
something.
mandate.
Yeah.
So if the organization itself says that
Yeah.
we want
And
to.
today, all these new organizations, anyway, a lot of people work from home.
Yeah.
And
They're
kind
so
of
flexible,
Yeah,
yeah.
flexible. So it's,
Yeah.
I
And I
think
think,
it's
yeah,
pretty
so I
cool
I feel
in
like
terms
whenever
of.
a media company does something, it's always sort of like a forerunner anyway. Don't you feel
Correct.
like media has always embraced women? There've always been more women in media. I don't know. There's something
not
about
really, I
the-
don't know.
I mean, no, but
I feel like I worked in advertising for a long time and in hotels. I worked in two industries where I feel I saw a lot of women.
Okay.
More so than banking or, other.
could be. I mean, I don't personally
other
know
things.
the numbers on this. But what I feel is that if the company itself says that we are okay with the
Yeah.
policy, then I don't think you're going to.
Anybody else should really have a
Yeah.
I
problem.
don't have a problem with it. Yeah.
If you have a
and
problem,
like-
leave the company. If you
Yeah.
like
The
it, join the
company,
company.
yeah.
Exactly. There is a bit of a push though now I've been noticing, and I don't know how connected all of this is, but it's also funny. It's like you notice something once, you see it a second time, and then you start to think you're seeing a pattern where actually, whatever, maybe it's been talked about forever. But in the recent past, I attended, a couple of months ago, I attended an event, a conference about, cleaning water sources. So about like making sure that sewage is taken care of. And the other part of it was about not empowering, but like making sure that women have access to toilets, sanitary protection,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So there was a lot of talk about it. And one of the things that they really wanted to do during that conference was make talking about periods not like
Normalize the
yeah,
conversation,
normalize the
basically,
conversation.
yeah.
It's not an illness. It's also not a sexual thing.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
Yeah.
So, so it's just interesting that I wonder, again, if when you talk about period leave, whether there's also a slight you're rubbing up against the cultural norm of not talking about periods. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
okay.
the reactions to these things are oftentimes an
You
amalgamation
mean that when
of
she's
so
not
much
come on a
stuff.
particular day of the month, everybody in the office knows that
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
she's got a
And that's not
periods,
something we
yeah.
traditionally talked about openly,
Exactly.
right? So, I don't know. So many different reasons why people respond or react to something that people like us look at and say, what the hell?
In fact, incidentally, there's a movie which is coming out now. I think Akshay is in the movie.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
called The
Batman.
Batman,
Yeah.
which they're going to talk openly because it's
Yeah.
about this doctor who sort of came up with
made,
his low-cost sanitary
low-cost
napkins.
Not
Yes.
even a doctor. Maybe in this movie they're going to make him a doctor.
No, I don't know. I
he's
could
not
be
a
wrong.
doctor, he's a social
He's
worker,
not-
I think.
He was a guy who owned some small shop in a village.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he, if I've got the story right, because Twinkle Khanna writes about, this is a story in her second book, which I actually read. So it's this guy in this small village where he realized his wife was using like old pieces of rag and
Yeah,
hay and
leaves.
leaves and all this rubbish. And so he started trying to come up with a pad that would be equal to the quality of what she couldn't afford to buy in a shop. And the humiliation he put his family through to come up with this because of the attitude we have towards the whole
Yeah.
business of menstruation.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see the reaction to that movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be a conversation starter.
Again, yeah.
But also in this case, I can probably understand why some women, don't want to appear as like this. I think they're treating this as some sign of weakness. That if I, because they've always been told, a lot of women, you man up, or you power through, just work through it. And some women are like who are arguing online. They're like, dude, I can work through it, man. I can, but some women can't.
Some women, I'm telling you, my roommate and I were exact examples of that. I didn't feel a thing, and she could barely breathe.
Sometimes
1 day a month.
If not, if not always, I think the progressive shifts in society comes when you focus on the marginalized, the minorities, the ones that need that. Just because you can, go to work.
But it's kind of like this whole thing about feminism also, right? Like there are people who judge other people's feminism. Oh, she's too much, or oh, you're not feminist enough. You're shaving your legs. You're not feminist enough. You put on makeup and you're appealing to, like, fuck off, dude. Like, who are you to tell her that she's not feminist enough?
Yeah.
Or to talk about someone else as being a bit too much, It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of shit we have to deal with.
I think the other people who have a problem with this will be the sanitary napkin manufacturers, because their story has always been like, use our product and you're fine. Like,
yeah, you don't feel a thing.
Yeah, you can go fight a battle or whatever you can do.
Climb, play sports and jump from a waterfall.
Yeah, and all that kind of thing. So I
exactly.
think they'll
Things
have a
I wouldn't
problem
do in my
with
normal life. I slap that sanitary towel on and see me go.
Yeah.
I'm playing basketball and shit that I never did. Badminton. Yeah, well,
But I think there needs to be a shift in the conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Because it's kind of hilarious that 3 people who don't have a day job who can take off whenever they want.
I also want to say 3 people who don't have their period. Because I'm also about to die, so I'm on that trajectory now.
Yeah, but I think for me personally, like, I'm just batting for the ones that need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let them have it, man. I mean, there are other battles to fight. You win the other one. Don't.
Totally. What was I going to ask you? Do you remember how old you were when you first understood that this period thing was a thing? Because you're guys, so I always wonder about that.
I knew there was a thing, and as guys, we would be like, "That's a thing."
Yeah.
We didn't know exactly what that thing was.
Yeah.
And then I understood it distinctively when I was around 13 or 14, when one of my classmates had an incident, and that's when that is the thing, But thankfully, I grew up around people who were really mature about it, so it wasn't
a problem.
You just knew, but at the same time, now when you think back, you wish somebody had spoken to you about it.
I know.
Because I think from whatever I've observed, I think the conversation only happens between the mother and the daughter, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, in my case, it had to happen with my dad, unfortunately, because he was with me when the first time I ever got my period. I was like, good God, like, why do I have to talk to him about it? And it would have been cool if my mom had the conversation with me. I think, don't you feel like you're the only parent over here? But don't you feel we don't talk to our kids?
Cats.
You have 2 cats, great. Did you have the talk about menstruating and stuff with your cats?
No, I got them fixed, na. So
that's clever of you. I'm sure.
Then I explained to them why.
Got it.
Together.
I'm fixing you because.
Don't
no, but I feel like we don't. The idea of talking to kids about all this stuff is delegated to the mother if it's girls.
And it usually happens with just the daughter. I mean, I don't know.
And I feel like boys are never told anything.
Yeah, we don't.
They end up not being told a single thing. I know, it's so sad. It's so true.
Actually, I was in a boys' school, so I really didn't know about it. And I actually have a very funny story about how I came to know about chums. I mean, chums is the Bombay is really the word kind of thing.
All of us
and
call it chums.
Actually, I use it on stage, but I don't mind sharing it here. So actually, I was with a girl parked somewhere in, one of the dark bylanes of Bombay. At that time, we used to get parking the bylanes of Bombay.
When you were young,
and no potholes. There were
no potholes. Yeah. And true story. My hands went there, and she screamed out like, "Hey, my chums are here."
Yeah.
And I actually looked out of the window like, chums, like what? Because
like,
for me, chums were like friends,
my
boys.
Friends, my chums are here.
Yeah. And I told like, why do you call them chums? She said, you don't know we call them chums. I said, no, first of all, I don't know what they are. Yeah, he's saying because they are loyal friends who visit us every month. So apparently that's the kind of thing to it. So that's the first time I sort of came to know about this. And then probably I asked somebody, and then like a older friend who knew life, probably 3 months older than you. Yeah. And he explained it to me that they get it every month. So I said, what? Then I really asked that did it really get out of action? There's like bleeding there and kind of thing. He said, no, it's okay. Like it's normal for them and kind of thing, And that's where you sort of then I started putting a lot of things because I remember once. I mean, again, there was a family friend who visited us from London in a house, and in the UK apparently you can put your pads in the pot, and the system is such that you flush it, it flushes it out. But in India it doesn't.
Yeah.
Or our Indian style potties
Oh
didn't
my
sort of
God,
do it,
yeah.
and it got clogged.
Oh God.
Shows up in a bottle,
And that's the time when I think I used it after or something. I saw this thing with blood inside, and
Yeah.
I said, "What the hell?" And I told my mom, "Yeah, there's something here."
Yeah.
And they said, "No, it's okay.
You
go
go
out.
away,
You
go away, don't make eye
away."
contact.
The grown-ups will
God,
take care of
it's
this.
really
And then I
dangerous.
remember her telling that friend that, "Listen, don't
Yeah,
dispose
yeah.
it off here, dispose it in a
Yeah.
newspaper or whatever, and throw it in the garbage, because you see." Then
Yeah.
I remember telling her, I'll say, "No, back home it happens this way." She's saying, "Yeah, it doesn't happen."
But
here."
I can imagine how guys feel about the whole thing because it's so shrouded in secrecy. I remember when
Yeah.
I was like a prepubescent child, I was very fascinated. I was like, "Ye kya hai? What's going on?" And it's such a grown-up thing. Like it was a bigger deal than it is. Like it just was never discussed.
And it's the same across the social border, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because even when you go to, you go to the pharmacy, also
Yeah.
in there, like,
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
because and then when we're like, what is going on? And then there would be like a
Yeah, that
special
entire thing.
packaging.
Yeah. And Aditi has just said that black
Yeah,
paper.
exactly. Yeah,
as
yeah,
if
She has a funny
packing,
one
yeah,
about it.
cocaine
Wrap
and
it
this
up
and
in-
that.
Since I've been telling other people's jokes, I feel like throwing that one down as well.
But for our guys, just to
Watch your
complete the
Netflix
thing,
Yeah.
I mean, true story again.
Yeah.
Once his neighbor.
Please let it not be about you trying to feel up some lady.
No.
I'm joking.
Rubbish.
I'm
a
joking,
decent
I'm
old
joking, I'm
man,
messing around.
making me sound bad. Stop laughing, Daniel. But so this neighbor guy, we grew up together. One day he comes up to me and says, "Listen, I have this hair growing down in my crotch area.
Yeah.
So I think I've got some disease or something." He's saying, "First I got little of it. Now it's like coming out of my undies."
Oh, I'm so glad I have a visual of this.
Yeah, so what should I do about it? So that time I said, "I don't know, ask your dad about it. मेरे को क्यों पूछता है?" So then he apparently asked his dad, and dad said, "कहाँ क्या, this is normal, so it's not like something which is abnormal," and told him to obviously trim it or whatever. But it was damn funny because we had this conversation. So I think for us guys, just the pubes itself is a big issue to sort of
It's a
talk about. Yeah.
revelation. And you guys have the voice breaking and there's a lot of stuff that goes
Puberty
on.
is harder for guys, is it?
I don't know. I
I think just
definitely
growing
don't
up
know.
Growing up only is
it's
awkward,
awful
dude.
for
It's
guys.
like, I think I've
Dude, growing
I've
up is
got-
shitty. Middle age is crap, I can assure you.
I think the
of
30s
that.
are fine.
30s are probably the best, actually.
I think 40 is the best actually.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, it's
So
not
then
so
for
bad,
me,
I guess.
30s and 40s. And I'll have 20 years.
I'm
of-
hoping my 50s are rocking. Like, that's now what I've set my sights and my hopes on.
Yeah, because it's downhill now, no? For you guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm scared of like. 40.
How old are you, Danny?
I'm turning 33 next week.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 30s are good.
I'm 50 next year, man.
Are you
Jan.
seriously
Yeah,
50?
50.
Yeah.
Half a century, man.
Oh, yeah, I remember when you started, you said I'm
That
44 years
is
Yeah,
old.
so now
wild.
it's like 6 years and 50 year. So it's good, but
That's a good one.
I'm
Yeah, I agree.
enjoying it, yeah. And in
I
fact,
agree.
sitting here in a comedy room with
I know,
two of
right?
India's largest, funniest
You know-
comics.
Yeah.
and
You know you're
wearing
you're
a-
embracing your mortality. when
I
you
know.
start
Start talking.
Sitting here.
I know,
These
lucky
lights,
me, these
this
lights.
table,
Yeah.
this wood.
wearing a
the
Guardians
I
of the
know.
Galaxy t-shirt. What else?
Exactly. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, and on that note, we'll take a leaf out of Atul's playbook and make the most of each day, because one day we'll all be as old as him.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to appreciate
light देखो.
Yeah,
light
ये
so
mic
lovely.
क्या है? ये glass
your
देखो.
mic, your mug.
Yeah.
And with that, we come to the end of the episode. I hope you guys had fun.
We
I
had
did.
good
It
fun.
was,
Thank you, Daniel.
we
Thank you,
discussed
Thanks,
Radhika.
Danny. Thanks, Khatri.
Thank you all
Turkey.
around. If you want information on where you can catch Radhika or Atul at a live show, their information is on the screen. Follow them on their Facebook page, their Twitter, their Instagram. Tweet to us once in a while. We love hearing from you. If you want an audio version of this podcast, the link is on the description below. You can download it and listen to it on the go when you're driving, when you're working out. It's much better
While
when
you're
it's
having sex.
audio.
Yeah.
Just to spice things up. You can come
and
me and
listen,
Khatri
Why
talking
wouldn't you
about
want
periods.
to hear Atul's voice when you're having sex?
Sex, yeah. But
And we're
listen,
talking about
one more
periods.
thing, because I'm starting new. Can I just plug
Sure,
something?
yes, yes,
yes,
I've got
go
my
for it.
own YouTube channel. I think it's Atul. Just find Atul Khatri. I don't know how do you figure these things
I'll
out.
link it on the
Huh,
podcast.
and just follow it, whatever. Yeah, so support me.
All right, great. So support Atul in his
Support me also.
in
Yeah,
his
also
new solo venture. And Atul, welcome to our side.
Yeah, welcome to the singles. Yeah,
Welcome to
single
the
stable,
single-
dude.
single
They should have a
stable.
Tinder for the single comedians to find podcasts and stuff that we
Podcasts
can
and
go to,
shows.
shows
Yeah,
and
actually,
stuff,
etc.,
right?
etc. That's all from my side. My name is Daniel Fernandes. Till we meet again. Take care and goodbye. Yeah, with that kind of money, you ought to have M and C in your name.